Probability means possibility. It is a branch of mathematics that deals with the occurrence of random events. The value is expressed from 0 to 1, and probability has been introduced in maths to predict how likely events are to happen. So the word meaning of the probability means possibility or the chances to occur something. So the formula we can use here for finding the probability of an event to happen equal to number of favorable outcomes divided by total number of outcomes. Or in words you can write, the probability formula is defined as the possibility of an event to happen is equal to the ratio of the number of favorable outcomes and the total number of outcomes. So some terms are here, outcomes, events. So we can see that particular terms. So here we have a discussion about these different terms related to probability. The first one, the probability itself. Probability, it is a concept which numerically measures the degree of certainty of the occurrence of events. And another term is experiment. An experiment, it is an operation which can produce some well-defined outcomes is called an experiment. Here the outcome means the result of an experiment. Every experiment has some result. If the result is well-defined, then that type of activity we called as experiment. So then the another term is event. The collection of all or some of the possible outcomes is called an event. Here equally likely events. This is a particular type of events. That is, a given number of events are said to be equally likely if none of them is expected to occur in preference to the others. That means every events have equal chances to occur. That type of events we called as equally likely events. So here we can see some examples. So here some example of sample space. Sample space means the collection of all outcomes we called as sample space. Or in simply, sample space means the collection of all possible outcomes. So the first example we will see a die is thrown once. A die. We are familiar with the die. We are used for playing games. So if a die is thrown once, there are 6 possibilities. So the numbers are there on each face of the dice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So these are the possible outcomes. So n of s, that means number of possible outcomes. Number of outcome equal to 6. And second case, if 2 dice are thrown together or a die is thrown twice. Both cases are seen. 2 dice are thrown together or a die is thrown twice. So in this case, these are the outcomes. First one, 1, 1. 1, 1 means both the dice throws 1, 1. So you can see the die here in the picture. These are the dice. If you throw the dice, either you will get 1 or 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6. So the second example here, a die is thrown twice. So the first possibility 1, 1. That means first die shows 1, second die also shows 1. Second one 1, 2, first die shows 1, second die shows 2. Similarly 1, 3 up to 1, 6. Second row 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3 up to 2, 6. 2, 1 means first die shows 2, second die shows 1. Similarly, you can write it all these outcomes, and last one 6, 6. That means both the dice shows the number 6. So together there are 36 outcomes. So these are the possible outcomes. We can write here in one dice number of outcome equal to 6. In 2 dice it becomes 6 square. That means 36. The similar cases in case of a coin also, if you toss one coin, there are 2 outcomes, either head or tail. Now we can define the probability here. The probability of occurrence of an event equal to number of outcomes favorable to E divided by total number of possible outcomes. This is a empirical formula we can use for finding the probability. Here also some more examples are here. A coin is tossed once. There are two outcomes, either head or tail. So the number of possible outcomes equal to 2. And similarly, a coin is tossed twice, or two coins are tossed simultaneously. Simultaneously means same time. So these are the four outcomes. One is H, 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 H. That means both the coin shows head. Second one H, T or HT. HT means first coin shows head, second one shows tail. Third one TH means first coin shows tail, second one shows head. And fourth one TT, that means both the coin shows tails. So here the number of possible outcomes equal to 4, that means 2 square. Similarly, you can find out a coin is tossed 3 times. It is same as 3 coins are tossed simultaneously. In this case, we can have 8 outcomes. So these are the outcomes. So I hope you understand what is meant by the outcomes. And these outcomes together we called as sample space. And now we come to another point, that is complementary events. So here let E be an event and not E be an event which occurs only when E does not occur. So capital E we are used for denoting the event E. The event not E is called the complementary event of E. And here probability of an event plus probability of not E equal to 1. And also probability of E equal to 1 minus probability of not E. For example, you can say suppose E equal to probability of getting tail in tossing a coin. So E means probability of getting a tail, and probability of not E means probability of not getting a tail. So from here we can understand the probability is always lies between 0 and 1. We can write it here, 0 less than or equal to probability of E less than or equal to 1, or the sum of the probabilities of all the outcomes of a random experiment is 1. So these are the some important terms related to the probability. We can have a recap here. Probability, the formula, probability of an event to happen, that is equal to number of favorable outcomes divided by total number of outcomes. Now we can have some explanation for the different terms, event and outcomes. An outcome is a result of a random experiment. For example, when we roll a dice, getting 6 is an outcome. Then again, an event is a set of outcomes. For example, when we roll dice, the probability of getting a number less than 5 is an event. A probability of getting a number less than 5 means the probability of getting either 1, 2, 3 or 4. So this is an event. And we have to note that an event can have a single outcome also. Single outcome means only one outcome. For example, when we toss a coin, either we get a head or tail. Only two possible outcomes are there, head or tail. So if you are tossing a coin for getting a tail, this is called a single outcome. That is called an event. But we toss two coins in the air, there could be 4 possibilities. So these are the possibilities HH, HT, TH and TT. So these are also the events. Then another term elementary events. An event having only one outcome of the experiment is called elementary event. Example, you can see, take the experiment of tossing a coin n number of times. One trial of this experiment has two possible outcomes, head or tail. So the individual toss, it has only one outcome, either head or tail. So this is an elementary event. And here we can see the example of sum of the probabilities. I told you here the sum of the probability of elementary events in a random experiment is equal to 1. So here we can take an example here. Take the coin tossing an experiment. Probability of getting a head is 1 by 2 and probability of getting a tail, that also 1 by 2. There are only two possible outcomes. So if you are adding these two probabilities, 1 by 2 plus 1 by 2, you will get 1. So here in a random experiment, the sum of the probability is always 1. And the next one, impossible event. An event that has no chance to occur is called an impossible event. Probability of an impossible event equal to 0. For example, probability of getting a 7 on rolling a dice is 0 because 7 is not there in a die. So probability of getting 7 in rolling a die is 0. So here this is called an impossible event. Another one, sure event. An event that has 100% probability of occurrence is called sure event. The probability of occurrence of sure event is 1. So one example here, what is the probability that a number obtained after throwing a die is less than 7? So less than 7 means all the numbers are there. That means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 are there. So here the probability of getting a number less than 7 is equal to 6 by 6. The favorable outcomes are 6 and the total number of outcomes are also 6. So the probability equal to 1. So these are the some terms related to the probability. And here we have to note that the range of probability of an event lies between 0 and 1, inclusive of 0 and 1. That means 0 is less than or equal to probability of an event less than or equal to 1. That is, in a random experiment, the minimum probability is 0 and the maximum probability is 1. Or in other words, you can say probability is a numerical measurement lies between 0 and 1. So we have learned the basic meaning of probability and some terms related to probability. Thank you for watching this video.